our experience at Ethereum Denver 2026. All of that, let's say, patina on the car was from Paul Walker himself.
Most people also thought we were giving it away or as a giveaway.
We're not giving it away, but you can become a co-owner of it. It's what Paul Walker drove in Too Fast, Too Furious, the original documents from Paul Walker. So you could see the original title, registration, and insurance card from him. The Ferrari was honestly the first thing anybody saw. And he looked like directly at me and said, and what you're doing checks both those boxes. All right, we are back for another episode of the Money Shift podcast, episode number 30. And today we are going to be talking about our experience at Ethereum Denver, ETH Denver 2026. We had a really great time. I was joined by Iron Maiden, who we've got here on the stream, as well as co-founder Josh from Rev Hard Motors. And yeah, it was such a great experience. We're going to get into it right now. Let's go ahead and say hi to our co-host, Gary.
Hey, GM guys, how's it going? Great to be here, ready for another episode of the Money Shift podcast. We're on episode 30. Can you believe it? That is awesome. I'm glad that we're here. We're about to hit the big 3030. And shout out to everybody who's here. Bill, Zach, who's here also from Base. Appreciate you guys for joining. Hey, it was great to have many of you guys as well. Some of you over there at the event.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so many high points for us to cover. We did actually get into it quite a bit with Rachel from Onchain Media during our live stream with her yesterday. So some of the stuff will be a little bit of a recap, but you know, so many great stories to share. And if you missed that one, then all this will be fresh to you as well. But yeah, thanks to Zach and Phil for stopping by. If you are in the live audience right now, go ahead and drop a GM or a hello in the chat. We'd love to see who's hanging out here with us. But I'll go ahead and pull up our X account so we can take a quick peek at some of the goodness that we got up to there in Denver. So, and thank you for being bullish on us, Zach. Honestly, it was great to meet you in person. I know we've spoken numerous times on some live streams and X Spaces and what have you. But yeah, definitely looking forward to doing some of those events that we were talking about in Austin once we get settled in there. So we will be talking about some of the upcoming events that we have now that we have ETH Denver behind us. I guess kind of kick things off with the timing being pretty nice that the Stage 3 of the RS1 Ferrari presale went live on Wednesday, the first day of the event. So we were able to effectively lower the barrier of entry for people to get in and become co-owners of the Ferrari. So that is live now. If you want to get into the presale, then go to drivenvehicles.app. That's DRVNVHCLS, like my hat says, .app, or you can find it on the Base app and Farcaster. And all you need to do is hold a minimum of 100,000 Buster tokens. That's our ecosystem token to get into this stage. Or if you are a holder of any of our Founders Club keys, you are now eligible to participate. So yeah, look forward to bringing more people into that community of co-owners for Paul Walker's Ferrari. So where to start? I think the first thing to mention is, man, our placement there was prime. We couldn't have asked for a better spot inside of the venue. So basically when you walked in, you go through this little corridor where there was like a merch shop and the arcade section. But then as soon as you entered the main exhibit floor, we were right there. We were, you know, the Ferrari was honestly the first thing anybody saw. So it was great seeing new people come in. Immediately, they whip out their phone and start taking pictures of the Ferrari. And so it was nice to, in a sense, be the first impression for a lot of people that are entering the exhibit hall there. And the first couple of days, man, we got mobbed. It was nice, you know, once people were a little bit more familiar with us, you know, we had more people coming back and talking with us at the booth and kind of taking some time to deep dive a little bit more into what we're doing to bring car culture on chain. But yeah, those first 2 days, dude, I was exhausted. We talked to so many people, shook so many hands. You know, I practically lost my voice after the second day. I was just pure willpower that I was able to keep it going. But yeah, what did you think about the initial impressions that we made those first couple of days?
You're absolutely right. I mean, yeah, it did take a couple of days. Just as you lost your voice, I lost my voice as well. I
Mhm.
couldn't believe it. And yeah, definitely that first day, we just arrived and direct get to go, to the place, start meeting people. It was exciting. I mean, excitement was in the air for sure. The first couple of days. And then, once you settle in, it's exciting, but then the side events kick in and all of that. So yeah, definitely a lot of people, a lot of builders, a lot of legends being met. Like, as we mentioned, Zach is one of them. And I'm pretty sure Zach can relate. He's, running around, going around, meeting other people, especially great that we were in the prime spot, exactly as you're showing the image
Mhm.
there, right where the arcade is at. So yeah, as soon as you were done playing a couple of
Mhm.
games or checking some of the Web3 game out there, you get to see the Ferrari. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So people would enter back here, come through here. This is where the arcade was, and
Mhm.
then just spits you out right at the Ferrari. So yeah, we definitely lucked out with the placement. And I think we took advantage of it by, we had three of us on staff there. So myself, Gary, and Josh, our co-founder from Rev Hard Motors. And then we even had these little window stickers that I designed that look like when you go to a dealership and it has all of the specs and information about it is modeled after that. But it allowed people to come up and, if we were occupied talking with somebody, they could go and learn a little bit more. And then, it helped. So once we got around to, finishing one conversation and jumping to another, they already, had their questions lined up. They already, had some level of familiarity with what we were doing. And we also had, you probably can't see it, but right here on the dashboard of the Ferrari, we had the original documents from Paul Walker. So you could see the original title, registration, and insurance card from him, proving that this was indeed his car. And the one of the things that I've always appreciated taking this vehicle out to events and shows and what have you is, when they're reading that Windows sticker or, they see the documents, the moment that it clicks that this was Paul Walker's car, it's like a light bulb goes off and they have this immediate reaction. And you know exactly what it is. They're like, oh, okay. Whoa. And so that's always so much fun to see.
Yeah. Three things that is one of the things I want to mention. Anybody who went in there, they couldn't miss the Ferrari. If they did, they're lying. So the Ferrari was exactly at the entrance. So that's awesome. Two, you're absolutely right. They dive in, and the first thing people noticed was that all the info. And then when they saw Paul Walker's Ferrari and they saw the signature, they're like, you can see their heads like, whoa. They start taking out the camera, taking pictures. I don't know, especially on the other side, right? They start taking pictures. And the funny thing is that we had the actual, his actual papers where he signed and when he first bought the car, right?
Mhm.
So that actually legitimized even further, or the proof of authenticity that this was his car. So yeah, most people were like, "This is amazing! Whoa, this is great!" Right? So yeah, it was great, and also just the Ferrari alone, just that having a Ferrari alone. Most people also thought we were giving it away or as a giveaway.
Yeah. You're like, "Oh, is this a raffle or like,
Yeah, it's
how
a
do I buy
raffle.
the car?" And my default response is, "We're not giving it away, but you can become a co-owner of it."
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
actually, that's funny how you mentioned that. Most people will ask, what do you mean a co-owner? What, and then here comes a little bit of, our sharing what we're doing here, especially with, as an RWA platform, what we're able to do by bringing, these cars on chain. So that it was
Mhm.
great. It was great though.
Yep, yep. And the other thing that I liked was I wasn't sure if we were gonna be able to get this done in time, but we did this sort of race style livery on it. So we did these graphics and even did, a couple things that I felt were just to kind of like make the car look a little bit more modernized without really doing anything. So let's see if like do anything significant. Um, see if I can find it here. Scroll past some things we'll be talking about in a minute. Here we go. This is a good one with Captain Ethereum. We did the like, what do you call it? Vent and scoop channel down here. We blacked out. And then we also blacked out the chin of it. and it almost made it look a little bit more like a McLaren, how they have those strategically placed black blacked out sections. And so
Hmm.
it took this car from looking, like late 90s to being a little bit more modernized. We did these silver stripes inspired by one of the optional stripes on the car. And then of course the RS1 graphic. So, and it's funny because, I intended it to kind of look like, the race number on a car, and almost like you would see on like a Gumball 3000 car. They always had these kind of funky graphics on them. And
Yeah.
a lot of people even picked up on it. Are like, oh, it looks like a Gumball 3000 car. I was like,
Yeah, I heard
exactly
that
what
a
my
lot.
inspiration was.
Yeah, I heard that a lot. Yeah, and I figured that was the inspiration behind it because I did hear some of the,
Mhm.
people who were they were like, "Hey, that's is this a race car?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
So there's
yeah.
a good example of it right there. Yeah. And I'd say, made some amazing connections. Our objective for going there was, really to celebrate the launch of our RWA platform and get direct feedback from people in the space of, what they thought about it, and hopefully onboard a few people to join. Also to look for collaborations and partnerships, which we definitely managed to pull in a few that I think are really going to help to bolster what we're doing here at Driven Labo. And third was to really start talking with investors. And now that we have, the MVP of the app live, given with just a few of the features that are going to be rolling out over the next few weeks and months, but now we have the car tokenized, we've got the app live where we can show it right there and be in a position to speak from, experience of having gotten from, I'll say, 0 to 1. Now we can have these conversations with investors about coming on board, helping with, the capital that we're going to need to achieve all of our goals of, bringing car culture on chain. There's millions of automotive enthusiasts around the world. We feel that what we're building can serve all of them, whether they want to be a fractional owner or whether they want to tokenize their own car, their car club, their events, find new ways to monetize their passion.
Mhm.
And yeah, and the sky's the limit. So I feel like we really accomplished what we've set out to do, and a lot of those conversations that were established are ongoing. But yeah, it was such a worthwhile event for us to attend, and I hope that everybody who spoke with us there left with a little bit of excitement for the future of, I'll say, on-chain culture. It's not just about, not just
Mhm.
about the tokens. It's not just about the number go up. It's about how can we bring in this subculture in a sense and provide a lot more value on chain by opening it up to a world that's previously been separate from everything we're doing here in the blockchain space.
It's funny how you mentioned that in regards to the subculture because you're right. A lot of folks that came in, they were. I'm still surprised that a lot of folks are still kind of learning and being aware of what are the RWA aspect as far as what it is,
Mhm.
and also the fractionalization of collector cars or collector items and assets and stuff like that, where you're investing, which is something that I find myself very happy to actually share, in regards to the subculture. As you mentioned, there were a lot of folks that were talking about art subculture. They were talking about, what was the other one? I believe it was film,
Mhm.
as far as filming and music. So the fact that we were able to share, our take on what fractionalization is and what, we're at the moment. Yeah, everybody was just not, everybody was just not like, oh, wow, Paul Walker's car. But wow, I can't believe you guys are bringing subculture like the car culture on chain through many different aspects. And I guess that kind of gave them a little bit more like insight, like, oh, I see where this is going. And
Yeah,
subcultures, as I mentioned,
big
music,
picture.
art, films coming in also as well on chain. So
Mhm.
that's awesome too that we were able to, bring a little bit of that perspective to so many folks out there, especially in the Web3 space.
Yeah, and that was something I got a lot of feedback from people on, was a lot of, given the market conditions and everything, in crypto, there's, I guess you'd say, people being a little bit, either jaded or bearish on, just the token economies in general. And with
Yeah.
us doing something that has a direct tie-in with the real world, with, expanding to different audiences, it really made people feel good about the future of crypto, not just being, a casino, but being a place where real value comes on chain. So I feel like we did a pretty good job of maybe to some degree inspiring people about what's to come in our industry.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah,
Well said.
but if I can, real quick, I do want to give yet another shout out to Zach for hooking us up with a meeting with Jesse, the founder
Mhm.
of Base. We had a really great conversation. We probably spoke for, I don't know, 20 to 30 minutes with him. And I actually got an opportunity to speak with him at Onchain Summit in San Francisco, albeit very briefly. But it was great that he remembered who I was and what we're doing, and that we could actually have the time to dig in a little bit further, tell him more about our plans for not only for the project, but how what we're doing can support bringing people into Base, be it the blockchain or the Base app, because I strongly believe that people who are going to be entering any Web3 ecosystem for the first time, they need to have some of their fears quelled or have some trust in how they're approaching it. And if we say that, the best place to enter the Driven Labo ecosystem is by downloading the Base app and then going to our app, because Base and Coinbase has that reputation for being a trusted name in crypto, and we're able to leverage that for our onboarding, as well as tap into a lot of the inherent features of the Base app to create even cooler experiences within our app, many of which are still in development but will be coming out very soon. But he loved this idea, and one of the things that he said to me that really stuck out was that his objective for Base is to onboard new people from various communities and interests, and to tokenize things with real value. And he looked like directly at me and said, and what you're doing checks both those boxes. So for me, that was a great validation from the man himself, who's doing so much to bring the world on chain, that we're aligned with his vision. And so I'm really looking forward to the possibility of continuing to deepen those relationships with Base and be an avenue for onboarding what is a niche community, but also a very, very large and active community.
Yeah,
So
well said. And that's the thing, right? That Base's objective is exactly that, which is, as you mentioned, it's a validation, not just to us, but a lot of folks out there who are building and trying to make an entry point very seamless and very easy and accessible to a lot of folks out there who are coming on chain for the first time, doing their first transaction, doing their first, meme search or,
yeah,
Bitcoin search or L1 search. It
yeah.
doesn't matter, right? But the point
Buying
is
their first token, minting
the
their
first
first NFT.
exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly there. So I think the base app is probably, if not the best way to make that entry level accessible. So yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. So that was great that Jesse pointed that out. And I mean, shout out to Jesse as well, very supportive in regards to all the base builders out there and giving a little bit of his time and feedback as now this was at the base booth, correct?
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anybody from the base team that you met besides Jesse and Zach?
Yeah, I met quite a few people, and some of them actually live in Austin, which is really great because that's where I'm moving in a couple of weeks. So, it'll be great to be able to connect with them while I'm out there. I'm going to be heavily getting involved with like Stand with Crypto out there and various other communities and organizations, but also just to be in proximity to where a lot of the people in base are, so we can, get together, share ideas, figure out ways that we can align our objectives, and do what I've been saying of bringing in car culture via base.
Yeah,
So Yeah, it was good times. Other cool thing was that Jesse recognized our lead developer, Justin. And so, you know,
Well, you couldn't miss Justin. I mean,
yeah,
everyone, you
and
couldn't
his
miss him.
Avogacci.
That's right. And then also he had something. He has those socks, those long socks. Everybody's wearing pants because it was freezing cold out there, guys. I don't know about you guys. I'm from California, so for me, anything that has a little bit of snow is already freezing. So Denver was really cold. And here is our lead developer wearing shorts, Crocs, I believe he was wearing as well one day, and some long socks. Which I'm like, there's no one here around who's like that. He's the only one that stand out. So yeah, shout out to
and not only that, he's like, in my opinion, one of the most prolific developers on Base. He's contributed a lot to their docs and you know, added a lot of, you know, how should I say, features and things that have helped to enhance what Base is developing. So not only is he our lead developer, but he's just actively contributing to the Base docs as well. So shout out to him for being a Web3 legend.
Awesome. So this is the second time you met Jesse then?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
First time I met him, I gave him a pair of the Pixel glasses. We got a picture together. And so I think that was how he instantly recognized me, was I had the glasses right here.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man? I remember you."
Yeah, those were a hit as well. Everybody was like sneaking around just to like take a pair of sunglasses. They're like, okay.
Yeah. At our booth, we had, I don't know if I can find it real quick. We've got so many posts from the week. Yeah, we had our table set up with stickers and glasses, and we only came with maybe 150 pairs of glasses, a lot more stickers. And we were doing a little sort of giveaway game where people could win prizes, but people kept coming by and just like, and I just catch them out of the corner of my eye, and they like yoink the glasses and walk off. I was like, you know, you could have got them anyway. You didn't have to like try and, you know, sneak away with them, but that's fine. It was also fun seeing everybody walking around with the glasses on, either wearing them or on their hat or their shirt. So, you know, when people came to our booth, they're like, "Oh, you're the guy with the glasses. I need to get some of those."
Yeah, right on. Actually, I was scrolling through today in the morning, and I was like, "Oh, wait, you know, these guys, you know, they're wearing this." So they posted their picture of ETH Denver when they were in ETH Denver with glasses, but they're not next to the Ferrari. They're somewhere else, but with the glasses. So I'm like, in some way, hey, they remember us. Awesome, you know, because there was so much foot traffic actually. So it was kind of hard to like, you know, get to know everyone. But the cool thing about it is that everyone that was there and everybody that approached, you know, us and everybody that was around us that had interest, we all made a connection in a way. So that was awesome in regards to that.
Yeah, definitely. And we also got a chance to speak, or I got a chance to speak at the Onchain Summit Creator Mixer. That was Friday night. And that went really well. You know, met some great people there. Spent some time talking with the Hydrex folks who we're working on a collaboration with. And we even went to a cigar and whiskey bar afterwards with them and hung out. And that was definitely one of the highlights. You know, when you're going to all these side events where you've got a DJ and it's 200 decibels in there and you have to yell at the top of your lungs to even have a conversation. It was nice to, at both Rachel's event and then afterwards at that cigar bar, to just sit down and, you know, have a relaxing conversation where you're not straining your vocal cords.
Correct. Yeah, that's true. And not only that, but I mean, from there, I'm assuming just like in any other forms of, you know, when it comes to making connections and building, that's where all these ideas brew, right? I mean, because you get to focus, relax, so your mind is more relaxed, but also the ideas are flowing, right? It's fresh, and it just makes it just, you know, a place to always, you know, make connections and build from there.
Yeah, for sure. Let me see if I can pull this one up. So here's
let's show a video of like,
look at our booth.
Yeah. Is there any audio there?
I turned it down. It's just some loud music. We don't need that.
Okay, cool.
Now there you are showing the game. So
and now look at that. That's exactly, you're right. It looks like a dealership, right?
Oh yeah, with the sticker on it.
With the sticker in there, yeah.
Crypto Empress repping the Ferrari.
Funny, I didn't see her. When she took that picture, I didn't even know she was there. Maybe I was somewhere else getting lunch.
Yeah, this was before we had a chance to talk with her. Ended up meeting up with her a little bit later on. And then I think it was at oh my gosh, Temple nightclub, we were talking, and she came up with the new slogan we'll be using for it, which is "When Rari." She's like, everybody wants a, everybody says when Lambo, but you guys have a Ferrari, so you guys stand out. And I was like, I can't remember. I think she said it. She's like, yeah, we need to change it to when Ferrari. I was like, no, when Rari, much rolls off the tongue better. She's like, yes, that's it. So
All right.
that's our new.
All right, guys. So from now on, we're going to be using that. I don't know if we do hashtags, but if we do, we're going to use when Rari. So
Yep.
now you know where this is brewing. Yeah, absolutely, man. As you're going through it, I was going to talk about some of the, custom t-shirts that we had that we can dive into, in regards to some of the, partners that actually, sponsored the car. But shout out to our friend right there. Look, there's our RWA guru there.
Yeah, Ray Buckton.
Ray Buckton.
You'll catch us usually at least once a week. I think on Fridays, we join his X space through the Wolf Bitcoin account. And so he hosts a really great 1 hour space talking about the RWA industry. And so we are regulars on that. So it's great to meet him in person as well. And then, of course, Rachel Onchain, the legend, and one of the sponsors of the Ferrari. So I guess it's a good point for us to talk a little bit about that. As you can imagine, bringing a car like this out to events can be a bit pricey from like shipping, travel expenses and all that. Luckily for ETH Denver, where the Ferrari currently lives is about a mile away. The Rev Hard Motors dealership is where it stays, and that's right there in downtown Denver. But we are going to be taking it out to numerous other events throughout the year to promote the project. So what we're currently doing is working with a few brands and partners to sponsor it, and eventually we're going to have it all done up in a variety of stickers of our sponsors, so we can help promote them as well at these events. So Rachel was one of the first ones we got in. We are working with her as their Onchain Media is now our marketing and media partner. So they're doing a lot of really good work for us to help spread the word about what we're doing. So I was honored to slap their logo onto the car, and I know she loved to see it. So
yeah.
So
it's funny, that first day she arrived, I didn't really get to chat with her. I just said, hello, I'm Gary. And then I had to go back to other folks that were, I was speaking to. So yeah, definitely. But yeah, she was definitely awesome, man, to meet her in person, to hang out with. And you're absolutely right. If, so at Onchain Media, it's the place to, connect with not only her, but with a lot of folks out there who are also building and, great people as well.
Yeah, they do some great work promoting brands in the Web3 space. And they also have a community where up and coming content creators can go and learn how to improve their craft and become better creators, better speakers, better, editors, all the full package of what it takes to succeed as a creator in the space. So if you are a content creator, if you're looking at building your audience or improving your output, definitely go check out Onchain Media. They do a community call every Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Community calls are every Wednesday.
Thank you. Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific.
Correct.
So we try to make it to those to support them as well. So you'll probably see us there. But yeah, definitely check out Onchain Media. Big shout out to Rachel and everybody over there. I know we've got Callie in the audience right now. So shout out to Callie. And thanks for showing up as always. And let's also take a look at some of the other sponsors that we've got. Here's the car getting the graphics put on.
Awesome. And Phil actually mentioned that's a great idea, having all these, sponsors being featured on these events, So yeah, shout out to all the sponsors, and obviously, legend Phil here in the chat.
Yeah. So we can talk about that right now. So Phil owns Belleville's Body Shop. They are a custom shop in Wyoming, and he's also became one of our community members. Bought our keys. Is now a co-owner of the Ferrari as well, and has been just a massive supporter of everything that we're doing, and has immediately showed up and started providing value and giving feedback. And that's what we're looking for, particularly for those that join the Founders Club. or people that want to get in and get their hands dirty and have a seat at the table. And honestly, nobody's taken more advantage of that than Phil. So shout out to Phil from Belleville's Body Shop. So I want to, let's see.
Maybe we can zoom in a little bit. There are a couple of photos that we shared internally as well. And zoom, yeah, there you go. Okay, well, we can show that.
Yeah, so we can just quickly give a shout out here. So go follow our friends at Belleville's Body Shop on Instagram. It's as it sounds, Belleville's Body Shop. And you can see some of the amazing builds that they do. Seems like they mostly focus on trucks, huge truck culture out there as well. But I've featured this one numerous times in the past, but this is just an incredible Ford Lightning that they produced that has got like this full Shelby GT5 treatment on it. So amazing work from them. And yeah,
I'm saying this sarcastically. I'm thinking he's more of a Ford
he is
fan.
a Ford guy.
Maybe I might be wrong.
Yeah. Hey, I got no problem with Ford, especially now that they're partnered with my favorite F1 team, Red Bull Racing. Yeah, I've got a soft spot for Fords. Yep. And then the next sponsor that we had, let's see if we can find that logo placement on the car here we go. And I don't think we have any close-ups posted yet. I know we've got one coming up that's going to be posted probably later today. So the next sponsor we're talking about is Latest in Cyber. And the founder of that, she goes by Elixir. She discovered our project a few months back, came into the community. We instantly bonded over our shared love of Formula One, and she's been a great community member ever since. So when we put out the call for sponsors, she jumped on the opportunity. So we got a sticker for her on both sides here on the quarter panel, just above the scoop. And so it's got the Latest in Cyber handle on there, and her tagline and her little character on it. You'll see better pictures of that posted probably later today, but we do want to give her a shout out. Where did that go?
There's so many posts out there. Let me see if I can pull a post where we can see actually zoomed in.
Yeah, I bet you she's got one, but she does great content focusing on cybersecurity and crypto, of course. She also has a Substack. So I recommend you go and subscribe to her Substack, show her some support. And she honestly just puts out great content as well. I'm willing to bet she has that picture somewhere on her timeline. This is February 15th. Oh, okay, maybe not.
Is that her personal account?
Oh, I'm on Latest in Cyber.
But yeah, I mean, we will be posting all the, what we call all collection of all the photos and all the, that we took video and footage in regards to all our sponsors. Shout out to all of you guys as well. I mean, we're going to probably jump in a little bit into Onchain Media as they sponsored as well. They were one of our sponsors, but shout out to you guys. So we'll definitely be posting something in regards to, a show of gratitude to all of our sponsors as well.
Well, one thing I wanted to look for was we had sort of a, how should I say, an inadvertent sponsor that we added to it. So I had mentioned earlier that we have been building a connection and a partnership with Hydrex. And so we were talking with them about being a potential sponsor prior to getting the car all stickered up. And they decided to pass on this at the moment. But that sticker ended up making it onto the car anyway. So when I saw them, I was like, hey, check it out. Looks like you got a spot on there. So we got it on the back window. And so, I think they appreciated that. I didn't mind at all. They're great guys.
Yeah,
here.
absolutely.
But let me go ahead and I'll share this as wish I could do, no, screen, that doesn't work.
And Rex, we also dropped quite a lot of B-roll inside the Discord. So if you want to, show a little bit of Discord and go to some of the B-rolls that we have in the chat, although I'm pretty sure you're going to have to scroll up since there's so much going on.
Yeah. I think at this point, trying to switch the screen over to Discord might be a bit tricky, but if you want to see it yourself, go ahead and join our community and you can see it.
That's right. It's a good way to put. Yeah, exactly. It's a good way to put it. That there's more content there. You jump into our Discord. I'll be there. So make sure you join us. The link is in the description. And you guys can see all the B-roll, also all the great community that we're building. A lot of folks out here to help out also in regards to anything related to, Web3, cars, motorsports. And yeah, we would love for you guys to join us and, just, get to know one another and talk about what we love here, which is cars.
Yep, indeed. So yeah, this was a video we put together kind of to wrap up our time there of us pulling the car out and then taking it for a little joyride. So, oh, this was also your first experience riding in the Ferrari. So what did you think about it?
Oh man, it was great. I mean, I could tell in the beginning it was just as soon as you turn on the engine, man, it is just another beast. You're in a whole different level. If you think, like, for example, you're in a car that just revs really hard, goes fast, it's nothing like a Ferrari, man. You just as soon as you step in or you just jump, you're sitting down and you rev it, man,
Mhm.
it's awesome, dude. And it's funny how you mentioned that because a lot of folks out there, even they were not on the way when we did some footage out there. A couple of folks got out of their cars from wherever they were doing it for work, and took out their phones as they kind of knew we were gonna,
Gonna be doing a
take
few
off.
laps. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
we we got a little bit of a crowd going apparently of people getting video of us driving around this industrial park road. I gave him a little rev when I went past the group. I just popped it in neutral and floored it. And I think they appreciated the attention there.
Yeah, and it's funny how you mentioned that a car like that, you thinking it's going to be rough or no, it's kind of quite smooth, in regards to
Mhm.
how it feels once you're going at a certain miles per hour, right? And especially when you rev and you hit that gas, it felt smooth. So now I see why, this Paul Walker decided to buy a Ferrari, and
Yeah,
it just
and he
feels good.
enjoyed it. Like he
And
put
he enjoyed it.
73,000 miles on it himself, which is it's like as a collector car, it's the right amount of miles that the car was, driven by Paul Walker to really
Mhm,
kind of imbue his essence into the vehicle, but also, not so high that, it's considered a high mileage car.
mhm.
So, yeah, he definitely enjoyed it. You can tell the car, it isn't perfect. It has little rock chips and some minor scratches here and there. There's some issues on the interior from being driven and being enjoyed. And I think that's part of what gives it the character because it is in the condition that Paul Walker left it.
Yeah.
And, all of that, let's say, patina on the car was from Paul Walker himself.
Right on, right on. And then most people are shocked when they hear that story that you mentioned, right? That he actually
Mhm.
used it. It wasn't just one of those cars that he bought and just put it in the garage and like, oh, I have a collection. No, he actually drove that car. He enjoyed it, and as you mentioned, that lore of him, adding those miles. It just a lot of folks in they were like surprised and they felt like, oh wow, that's awesome. So it
Mhm.
just created a great not only perspective of what we're doing but also a great lore in
Mhm.
regards to this collectible asset that we have that this here available for everyone to be part of and have ownership. So yeah,
Mhm.
that was really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Sam saying it's freaking cool. Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like that's, a pretty good recap of it. We could spend hours talking about all the individuals we met, all the conversations we've had, all of the side events that we went to. But, I feel like we really just encapsulated the vibe of it and really what we got out of it. So, want to thank everybody who came and stopped by if you were there, and everybody who wasn't able to make it for watching from afar and sharing what we're doing. I also want to say one more thing about the sponsorship. So even though ETH Denver is now behind us, we are still taking the car to more events throughout the year. And we are
Mm,
looking for additional sponsors to put on the car to help us get it out to the next events. So we actually have lined up end of March. We are going to be going and featuring this car and others from Rev Hard Motors Motorsports Festival. So this happens roughly 3 times a year. I think that some years they've even managed to get 5 different events. The next one is I think it's in Scottsdale, Arizona. After
right.
that is going to be at Pikes Peak International Speedway, which is where we took the Ferrari to last year in Colorado, Nashville, and then I think they have another one back at Pikes Peak later in the year. And these are great because this is like an honest to goodness motorsport car culture event. They get over 100,000 attendees for each event. And as you can see here, it's not just a car show. There's drifting, There's people driving on the oval track. There's drag racing, and anybody who brings a car can take their car out on track. So it's designed for these cars to actually be used and not just be, sitting there, as a trailer queen, where they don't have a speck of dust on them. These cars actually get out and tear around the track. So if you will be joining us at any of the motorsports events, we'll have opportunities for us to take you out on a hot lap on the track. We will not be drifting the Ferrari, I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah.
But we may take it out on the oval track, which is a little bit more controlled. People don't go crazy. They just, go and cruise the oval track. And so there'll be an opportunity for a ride along for RS1 token holders, so shareholders of the Ferrari, and also, an opportunity for sponsors to get in front of this, super vibrant community of automotive enthusiasts where we can help rep your brand as well. So yeah, we got, actually, this is funny story. This is Adam LZ. He is one of the biggest automotive YouTubers out there, friends with our co-founder Josh at Rev Hard Motors. And I believe he got second place overall in the Formula Drift Championships last year. And he's sponsored by Coinbase. So, a lot of people in motorsport are already aware of Coinbase. They also sponsor the Aston Martin F1 team, if I remember correctly.
Right. Yeah, correct.
But, I think what we're doing can serve as an activation. They see the cars on track with the logo, then they can come talk with us, and we can onboard them into Base, show them what Coinbase and Base are doing. So excited for that. And, if things go well, maybe we can get something going with Adam LZ as well. But yeah, we've got
it all aligns well. You're right. You're right on exactly. So this is the stuff that we're trying to do here, and this is what we're doing, and this is what we're building towards to, and we'll continue. But in the meantime, I mean, shout out to Ace Trigo at the same time. He sent a message on Instagram. He's asking us what's next for us. I'm like sending him a message saying, "Hey man, you're missing out on our live stream at the moment where we're sharing it. What we're going to be doing next." He was just asking where he can find us for the next IRL event. So as you mentioned, we're going to be going to Slush Motorsport, and I believe it's on the 28th of March at Arizona. So I believe, there it is. The dates are there, and Driven Lab is going to be on all three. Am I right, Rex, to say that?
Yep, that's what we're aiming for. There's a lot of logistics involved, but yeah, our objective is to be at all three of the Slush Motorsports events this year. Our co-founder Josh is actually good friends with the founder of Slush, so we always manage to get really good, like, prime spot for our booth. And and funny enough, Josh also knows the guys from Daily Driven Exotics, and you can see here it's very small, but he's got the Gumball 3000 logo on his shirt, and that's an inspiration behind a cross-country rally that we're going to be trying to put together this year, where we're going to get some teams of people together to drive from LA to Miami, and in these wrapped sponsored cars, turn it into a docu-series, and the objective being getting from coast to coast, paying in nothing but crypto for the entire way. So got some fun things planned there, and of course sponsorship opportunities to be part of that production that we're putting together. So I thought I'd shout that out. But I do want to show real quick.
And I believe that's some alpha there. It's never been shared.
No, I've shared it a little bit. If you've been coming by and hanging out on some of our spaces, I've dropped that alpha a little bit. But now, we're getting to the point where we're ready to actually start planning it. But you can see here, this was at the last Slush Motorsports Festival, and those glasses are always a hit.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. And then we've got the Ferrari here. This is my personal Nissan S14 240SX, or Silvia, depending on what you want to call it. We also had Lancer Evo 5. And then this is a Ken Mary GTR. This is the second version of the Nissan GTR, still a Datsun at the time, that came out in the early 70s. This car right here is like a $500,000 car.
Yeah.
They only produce this for 6 months. So very, very rare. And
Funny you mentioned that. I didn't even, when I remember when I saw it, I'm like, what is that? I don't even recognize that as a Datsun or a Nissan. I was like, what is that?
yep, original Skyline GTR. This one was known as the Ken Mary because they did a whole ad campaign when they were promoting this vehicle that featured like a couple, like it was only sold in Japan, but it was like an American couple driving it. And so they started to call the couple Ken and Mary. And so it got the name as the Ken Mary GTR. And then we had next to it a Bayside Blue R34 V-Spec 2 GTR, which is hopefully going to be the second car that we bring into the fractional collection, the RS collection. This is our generation's dream car right here. This is what everybody grew up driving in Gran Turismo. It's what Paul Walker drove in Too Fast, Too Furious, and he ended up owning numerous of these cars. And so, yeah, this is one of my all-time dream cars. So I'm really looking forward to bringing this into the collection and sharing it at all these events. So,
Yeah, it's gonna be great. That thing is gonna look sick once we not only fractionalize this vehicle and it's, people get to be part of it, but also, the whole collection of all the vehicles that we will, be enabling for everyone to just, have a share of it and, bring it down to Austin. As I don't know if we had mentioned that, but that's gonna be really, really great to have that as well.
most definitely. So, yeah, we've got a lot of events lined up this year. We're going to try and make it out to a few more Web3 industry events. Still looking at how to fit those into our calendar. Our objective for that cross-country rally, we're calling the Web 3000, is to end it at Art Basel in Miami. So just imagine half a dozen to a dozen cars all wrapped with crypto sponsors rolling up to Art Basel and making a scene there. So fingers crossed we can get that to pan out. And in order to make that happen, we do need to bring in some sponsors. So if anybody who's watching wants to take part in that, I think it'll be great exposure for your brand.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what culture is all about. And that's exactly tying it back to the beginning as what Jesse was mentioning. And this is the best way, one of the best ways actually to, bring and onboard new people onto Web3, this type of, scenarios and things that can be enabled thanks to, Web3 and the base app and all that. We can do this with sub communities.
Yep, indeed. So
yeah,
I think that's going to do it for our podcast today. We will be back next week for episode number 31 of the Money Shift podcast. And yeah, we'd love to see you inside of our community. You can find that link on X. If you go to our account, Driven Labo, you can find the link to our Discord. Don't forget the pre-sale of the RS1 token is available now through our app at drivenvehicles.app, also available through Base App and Farcaster. All you need to do is hold 100,000 Buster tokens, which is like maybe $10 or something, or any of the Founders Club keys will get you in. You'll just need to do a quick KYC. It takes about 3 minutes. Start to finish, from signing up to getting your RS1 tokens takes probably about 5 minutes in total. And yeah, we also have our Builder Burnout space on X this coming Friday. And, we'll be available on a bunch of other X spaces and shows throughout the week. So I appreciate everybody who stopped by. I see 71 viewers currently on X and
73.
73. Oh, okay, nice.
73. And and as the weeks, as we're diving back again to our weekly podcast and also spaces, we're just going to be growing. And shout out to everyone who's here again. Make sure to join us at Discord. As Rex mentioned, the links are in the description. Check out the app. It's inside the base app. Links also in the description and in the chat. Hopefully you guys can see it. And yeah, with that, go ahead, Rex. I don't know what other last words you have.
I guess final call to action. We have the Driven Culture publication and our weekly newsletter, Daily Driven, that comes out every Friday. You can find that at Driven Culture, drvnculture.xyz. So please do go and subscribe. It is really just a great way to stay on top of car culture in general, from IRL, on-chain, and online things that are happening every single week. So hope you'll subscribe to that as well. But that'll do it for today. Thanks again for everybody who popped in and hung out here with us today. And we will see you in the next one.
Have a good one, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.